You're listening to the Substation Gaming Podcast. I'm Black Chestnut. With me, I have Lucos
Hello.
and Ricola.
I
Today, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards. It happened. We watched it. We laughed at it.
it was kind of
It
lame,
was
like
it
usual.
was a little boring, little long. Could have been worse. I feel like it was
Yeah.
better than last year's.
It was, but it's not a very high bar.
Yeah.
There was a lot of disappointment, but also a lot of great moments.
Was there?
I don't feel like there was any
Disappointments for
necessarily
me.
great moments.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
too disappointed either, but I also didn't
I
have
was
high
disappointed.
hopes. So I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
was really a matter of expectations. I kind of expected to be disappointed, and so when I was only not that disappointed, it came out like on top for me, you know?
Same.
You just went in like not expecting much, so
I'm
when
s-
something
I'm
I
still
really did come in with the lowest possible expectations of there's not going to be a single cool announcement, and every single award's going to go to Deathloop.
yeah.
And so when that
Deathloop
didn't
really get that
happen,
much.
I was like, cool.
Right.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It's like Deathloop didn't win that much, but I still kind of feel like it shouldn't have won the 2 awards it got.
Which one did it
Exactly.
get?
It won
Yeah.
like best direction, and it won like best art direction. I want to say.
Yeah, I take both of it. I think I don't know. I really dig its art. Like this
I don't
60s
know.
vibe.
I feel like there was other games with better art direction.
Yeah. I
It came
feel
out
like
this
they could
year.
have won other awards besides the
Like
ones
the
they
art
got.
direction in Deathloop wasn't that fancy. It was just kind of like it was like realistic with a slight cartoony tinge.
Well, I mean, like stuff like environmental design is still part of art design, you know.
I guess it
It's
did
still
have
like
decent environments. I don't. There was just like other games with better art direction, like Inscription or
Yeah.
like The Artful Escape or It Takes Two. Even honestly,
yeah, I suppose. Still, I
and
dig
like for
Deathloop.
best game
Good one.
direction, it's like I do feel like that game did Deathloop did have good direction, but I also kind of felt like It Takes Two had better direction.
It Takes Two won enough.
It did. Here's the thing. I kind of feel like I would would have had like Metroid Dread win Game of the Year, and then It Takes Two won Best Game Direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
Same.
speaking of like It Takes Two winning Game of the Year and stuff, I do kind of feel like after thinking about it and stuff, I now would say that out of the nominees, it would be like my second pick.
Yeah.
I still
My
think
number two
I
pick.
still think It Takes Two is on the bottom of the list for me.
Really? Oh,
I just haven't heard
Wow.
enough about it. I haven't seen enough about it to know for it to be like
Well, just
Oh.
because you're not informed about the game doesn't mean it was like not worthy of winning awards just because you didn't hear about it.
Well, nobody was talking about it. I scroll through Twitter almost every day. I scroll through YouTube every day.
I saw people talking about it. Not a ton, but I saw people talking about it.
Right, you
I
know,
saw
I
people
mean,
talking about it because it was made by the Fuck the Oscars guy.
Yeah,
Fuck
that
the
guy deserved the
Oscars.
award alone. He did actually say "fuck the Oscars" on stage. We were just talking over him in our reaction.
Oh, I missed it? Oh.
Yeah,
Wait,
we
really?
missed it. He said like,
Aw.
I guess the Oscars got fucked. Yeah.
Hmm. He totally did just win because he's Jeff Keighley's friend, though, right?
Oh,
Like,
100%.
it's like almost comically biased right there.
Yeah, I mean, like in retrospect, thinking about it, It Takes Two is like a really great fucking game. Like, I definitely think it deserved it over, Deathloop and a lot of the other games on that list.
I'm gonna go
The
play
only other
Deathloop
one,
soon and end up giving it a 10, and it's gonna be
like
funny.
I'd say otherwise would probably be, again, Metroid Dread. But it's like, you know what? And thinking about it, It Takes Two is both super unique and really gamey as hell, and also really awesome.
Yeah.
So
It does do something really unique. Like Dread, as amazing as it is definitely something we've seen before.
yeah,
But It Takes Two's like weird co-op platformer story-driven thing
yeah.
is unique.
Yeah, and especially when I think, once again, like why I think it should have won like best direction over Deathloop. But then again, I also feel like Psychonauts 2 should have also won best direction over Deathloop. So that's
Definitely.
kind of why I
I
kind of
heard.
felt bad about that, because it's
You
like,
know, I
okay,
forgot
Deathloop's
Psychonauts 2
direction
even
was
came out.
good, but like It Takes Two and Psychonauts 2 are clearly way better direction, by auteur directors, you know.
Yeah, I definitely think Psychonauts had a. In my opinion, I would have been better.
I'll be honest. I completely forgot Psychonauts 2 came out this year until it was at the Game Awards. Like,
Yeah.
that game, it came out like after like a billion years of people waiting for it. I just saw nothing. It was weird.
Yeah. But like It Takes Two really does feel like the culmination of the dude's all of his previous games,
Yeah.
And so because like his first game, like A Tale of Two Brothers or whatever it was,
Oh,
pretty
was
sure
that
was it.
him?
Yeah. It was a little, it's a little rough around the edges. It's fine, but
Yeah.
nothing spectacular per se. And then A Way Out, which is his other game, was better. A bit slow paced though for a co-op.
You do get
game.
to hit a guy in the dick with a blowtorch, though, so that's pretty
That's
cool.
true. But like,
Yeah.
pacing wise, it's a little slow going,
Okay.
which is not necessarily great for a co-op, like a couch co-op game,
Yeah.
because it's like that's something that you kind of have a limited amount of times usually to play, provided that you have your friend like coming over to your house to play it, You
Yeah.
might not have all the time in the world to just sit down and play it, People have got places to be and shit. And so It Takes Two, being a much more fast-paced game centered around like chapters, with each chapter utilizing a completely unique gameplay gimmick and each one being really fast-paced and fun,
Yeah.
is a much better co-op experience.
That's good
I
direction.
agree. Yeah, it's definitely. It's like
So
bread and
it's-
butter
it's
definition of good
definitely-
direction.
Yeah, it's definitely the best game he's made so far.
Yeah.
Definitely deserving of a lot of the awards it won.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've definitely come to terms rewatching our reaction video a couple times. I've definitely come to terms with some of the awards that were given. I'll need to think. I need to rewatch it now just to see which ones I'm talking about. But I remember listening back to it on the ride home, and I was like, that's fine that game got that award. But game of the year for me, still, I can't. I can't.
Yeah, I kind of get that. For me personally, like I said, out of the nominees, I'd say at this point it's probably was like my number 2 pick. So I feel pretty decent about it, especially since Metroid won Best Action Adventure. So I'm like, okay, at least they got that.
The only award I remember being like actively like, what are they thinking, is best narrative.
Yeah. Like I saw
don't
some
even-
people trying to argue for it on Twitter, and I'm just
I
sitting
don't
there
even
like,
doubt the
watching
writing's
the
good.
scene,
The
and
writing's
I'm just
probably
like,
good. Like,
wow, this is like really melodramatic, and you're trying to argue that this was like great writing. Nah.
it's probably not bad.
I wouldn't say it
but-
was bad, but it was definitely like nothing special.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like I kind of feel like It Takes Two should have won Best Narrative. That one actually had a real fucking story with like actual fucking emotional stakes and shit in it. I mean, the story is literally a rom-com, but still.
I was surprised it won best multiplayer game.
Wait, It Takes Two?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, no. No, wait.
It Takes Two won.
It Takes Two won Best Multiplayer, and I'm not surprised because of what I said like previously, where it's like, of course it won Best Multiplayer Game. Out of all the games listed on that list, it was the only one also nominated for Game of the Year. So
yeah,
it was like
I remember that. I
no-brainer
remember
that was
now.
going to win Best Multiplayer Game,
Right, I do remember that now.
And I kind of think that's fine because compared to all the other multiplayer games, it's the only one that offers like a unique, actual, multiplayer experience.
Yeah.
Compared to every other multiplayer game that came out this year. So I kind of feel fine with that one.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the easiest game award that you could have predicted. The most anticipated game. Elden Ring was definitely getting that, no questions asked.
Yeah.
It's like the Elden Ring commercial segment. It's just like, all right, it's that time.
Dude, that was awesome. They got like the pot bro coming out on stage.
Right, that was cool though. They added like pizzazz to that award. They didn't just have a special person come up on
Yeah.
the stage. They had an actual NPC bring out the award.
Or just like one of the other awards where they just don't even like read the nominees. They just throw it out there.
Yeah. No,
It
the Elden
really
Ring
shows.
segment was cool because it's like the trailer that they showed is obviously the opening cinematic of the game.
Right.
Yeah. They said a bunch of vague stuff that makes no sense until you've beaten the game like 4 times.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
And if you don't like Elden Ring, then you have something wrong with you.
But
Fair.
but during that trailer, I don't think you guys noticed it, and I only like noticed it on like rewatches and stuff, and when people pointed it out. But the big dude with like the twin curved greatswords, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he was riding like a horse,
Okay.
but like the horse was like a regular sized horse.
Yeah,
while
and
he
he's
was, like,
just a giant. Yeah, he's just a
He was
giant.
just standing up and with the horse between his legs.
Not very proportionally
That's
accurate.
great.
Definitely
That's
not.
actually great. The Souls games have a sense of humor that I think people underestimate.
Yeah.
Like the skeleton wheels. They're still the funniest thing ever.
Well, they were just from Berserk.
Oh, were they? Oh, of course they
Yeah.
were. Fine. How about the skeleton chariot thing from Dark Souls 2? That thing's hilarious. And
It's a
annoying.
little funny.
Anything was there's plenty of funny skeletons in the entire series. I hope we get some more funny skeletons in Elden Ring.
Sleep tight, skeleton.
When you say the soapstone messages, I always just think of try tongue butthole. It's the only one I ever think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm kind of glad though that for best performance, like voice acting performance, the Lady Dimitrescu voice actor
Yeah.
got it. I definitely think she
Maggie
deserved it.
Robertson. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can
Because
agree with that.
I actually did some research on her, and she actually had a tough time like finding voice acting jobs. And the dev team for Resident Evil actually did take a chance on her because she really didn't have many jobs to really like fill up her resume.
Right,
So
she
like,
didn't have like a huge resume of stuff, you know.
right. So I mean, like, for her to basically have that kind of come up and be nominated for that and actually receive that award, like I felt like she deserved it.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
cool.
I can definitely agree. She was my
Uh,
#1 pick as well.
Yeah. It's definitely the only like character there that like that's I remember.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess there's the Far Cry 6 guy, but I just know him because he's already known as an actor, not because of his performance in that game.
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
you know?
See, like compared to him, he has a full resume of movies.
Yeah, I know.
Like he has
Yeah.
a full list.
He only got nominated because he's known. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if he didn't have a resume like he does and still did that as good as he did, I still think he killed it.
oh yeah, he managed to be the second best Far Cry villain.
Yeah. Like honestly, just in general, I feel like the Game Awards this year were pretty decent in terms of their awards, you know?
Yeah,
Where
looking back at
Pretty
the
much
list,
all the
definitely.
stuff that got nominated, I can say pretty much deserved to be nominated. There was only like 1 or 2 things that were like nominated for anything that really should not have been there, you know?
Like half the stuff Far Cry 6 was nominated for. I'm like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? That game, like, this game's been like universally panned.
Like
Why is
honestly, when it comes to Far Cry 6, the only thing I think it should have been nominated for was, you know, arguably best of performance.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. And
And
then best
the
accessibility,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And other than that, yeah, no, stop. Don't give Ubisoft that. They don't deserve that.
Thankfully, it didn't actually win any awards, so
Yes. We got lucky.
got that going for us.
Let's just talk about League holding its title for Esports Game of the Year
Again,
again.
every year. It's
It's-
because Riot is the only company that's willing to throw a shit ton of money at it, besides Blizzard.
And then
yeah.
Blizzard doesn't throw as much money.
Yeah. I mean, Blizzard's like, you know, they're very like fickle about what they'll throw money to. Like they'll
Yeah.
dump a shit ton of money into like Overwatch esports, despite the fact that Overwatch is just not a well competitively balanced game, you know?
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
won't
And all the
touch,
stuff that
but
was
they'll
going on with the
barely put
company.
any money into like World of Warcraft, esports.
Right. But also, I think if they won anything this year, I think it would have been like casting a shadow of all the stuff that's been going on with them,
Oh
like
yeah,
their internal stuff,
they got a fucking
a
mean
lawsuit.
stench to them.
Yeah, yeah,
To be fair, half the companies here are also completely terrible and awful.
Yeah, it's
Which,
it's
like,
it's one of those things where it's like you can't really have an
I just
award show like this
Jeff
without,
Kelly calling
sticking
it
your
out.
hand in some toilets,
yeah.
I just want to say though, Jeff Keighley calling it out and then like immediately, having a Quantic Dream trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like no self-awareness there. It's like, oh my god.
I I don't know. It's tough. Like, because I feel like Jeff Keighley is very genuine.
Yeah, he seems like a fine guy. He seems
And
nice.
he does have like, a lot of control over the show. And I feel like he's trying his best to make things better. He
Yeah,
wants the industry to get better just in general on like every level.
just the
Um,
AAA games industry is fucked, and this is a show about the AAA games
yes.
industry.
And it's just so hard, it's like, because like even like say last year where he gave a bunch of awards to Last of Us Part 2, a lot of which the game didn't deserve, not just because it was like kind of a controversial game for a lot of dumb reasons, to be fair.
Yeah,
Granted, some of them were valid in the sense that the game just is very overrated and not that great as a whole.
yeah,
Um, but like the main contentious one for me would be like, it winning best game direction, despite the
yeah.
fact that it had massive amounts of crunch during its development, you know.
I'm actually shocked they brought what's the director's name again? Um,
Neil Druckmann, something like
yeah, that
that.
sounds
I
right. Yeah,
always say his name wrong because I always call him like Near Dickman or something.
I'm shocked they brought him back because I know they got a ton of backlash last year, and this year you thought
Yeah.
they would have had this.
Like
Oh,
it's one
wait.
thing to give it like a couple awards, but to give it best direction, that's one's like
That's
no,
like, ugh.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since like not just the crunch, he also had like other like bad shit about him, where he like fired the head writer so he could rewrite the script himself effectively.
That's shitty, but I can understand that maybe.
It's a real weird shitty move when you like factor in the fact that like the main writer was like a woman,
Ooh.
and then he was like, but it has to be like a really pro, feminist message and stuff like
Oh
that about
no.
it. So it's like very like, what the fuck are you doing,
Contradictory.
bro? It's like
Oh no.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fucking hypocrisy on that is like. It's
It
like,
makes no
yeah,
sense.
it's like we're like it's a very positive message because our protagonist is like, a lesbian and stuff. And it's like, okay, but you literally fired the head writer for like personal like
A personal
disputes.
vendetta. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know the full story here, but that's,
But outside
kind
looking
of
in,
what
that's
I
what it looks
heard.
like. Yeah, that's what it looks
More or
like.
less, at least what it looks like, So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like not a great look, dude. Bit hypocritical there.
Hypocritical.
Yes. Yes.
That game won Best Direction because it was the most like a movie's direction.
Yes, exactly. That's another
It-
thing.
Yeah, I felt
It's a shame how dirty of a word cinematic has become because I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't want
whenever
to
a
imagine.
game tries to like sell itself on being like cinematic and like movie like, I immediately like that's the biggest fucking red flag to me.
And I
That it's
don't
like your game
want
is
to
just not gonna be
always
fun
hate
at
that.
all.
I
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to hate a game trying to be like movies because I don't know. You can get some cool stuff if you do that, but most of the time it's just crap.
Yeah. I don't know, but like uh you know, nowadays, at least for me personally, games that start off with gameplay right away. You know, you start the game and you're immediately jumped into gameplay are like a huge boom for me. Like maybe an opening cinematic, like an initial cutscene, and then boom right into gameplay. That's fine too. But like if you're starting the game off with like walking sequences or something stupid like that, where it takes like 20 minutes to get to the actual game, then I'm immediately turned off and I don't want to play your fucking game. You know?
Especially when you get to that gameplay and it's just slow as fuck.
Yeah, and especially when you get to it and it's like now shit, and it's like it takes 20 minutes to start and 3 hours to get good. Not fucking playing your game, you know?
Same thing for like a show.
It's like every RPG.
Yeah, like that's what really turned me off about when I tried Final Fantasy 15. You know, it was like it was very slow at the beginning, and then you get to when you finally get to gameplay and you finally start fighting enemies in a dungeon and stuff, and it's like this is terrible. This is the worst combat I've ever seen in a video game. This is worse than Xenoblade Chronicles combat, and I already hated Xenoblade Chronicles combat.
Everyone loves Xenoblade.
It's like, okay, I don't hate Xenoblade. I just didn't really like the combat. Literally the only thing I didn't like about it.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of tries to do like an MMO thing.
Like the combat. Yeah, and that was why. It's because I felt it was too MMO-y for me.
And yeah, the MMO thing
and
works,
like that's an entirely 100% like personal taste, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, I just didn't. I wasn't jiving with the combat. And granted, I played like at least 40 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, so I gave it more than a fair shake. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely like if I hate a game, I'm not putting more than a couple hours into it. Yeah. So you definitely hate it.
I didn't hate it. Like I liked the story for the most part. There was some bits of it that were like, well, that was really predictable. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, but like, if a game's boring for me, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm not playing more than an hour or two of it. So
I mean, like the combat was just engaging enough for me to keep going, despite the fact that I wasn't loving it at all for the entire way through.
You weren't McLoving it at all.
But like it was, I got to a point where I got to like this one boss fight where I just didn't know how to beat him.
Was it at Metal Face?
It was spoiler form Metal Face.
Oh.
In the snow area.
Okay.
So anyone who's played the game will know what I'm talking about. And I don't know what you're supposed to do to beat that boss, but I was dealing 0 damage to him with all my dudes, and he was 3-shotting all of my dudes. So I was like, that's it. I'm not having fun with this. I'm not trying to figure out how the hell this boss is supposed to work. I'm not grinding a shit ton to like if that's the answer that I'm just underleveled. I'm done not playing this anymore.
Did you play that on 3DS?
Yeah, I played the 3DS version.
I thought it existed.
Which I hear is like the worst version, but I can't imagine that it like the other versions actually fix my issues with the game.
Definitive made some changes and stuff, I believe, to combat, so I don't know. I don't know. I just feel bad because I paid a lot of money for my Wii version and now Definitive Edition exists before I ever got around to finishing that, so now it's worthless. Yeah. What won Best RPG again?
It was Tales of Arise.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Bravely Default 2 was better, but yeah. And Deltarune Chapter 2 was also better, but yeah.
That's a demo. That's
yeah, it's a demo, but yeah. It's still also like one of the best games that came out this year.
That's like, like the Oscars have the rule it needs to be like in theaters for a certain amount of time. Like, I don't think you should be able to nominate it if you like the demo.
I mean, I totally agree that it shouldn't be eligible for nomination because it's a demo, but it doesn't change the fact that it was also like better than the entirety of Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise is pretty good though.
And that's saying a lot because Tales of Arise was good.
Yeah. Deltarune is just that good, yeah.
It was that good. It was so good.
They should have just given it to Deltarune as an apology for Undertale getting snubbed for not winning Best Indie the year it came out. Freaking Rocket League snubbing it. That was.
Oh my god!
I'm still angry.
Rocket League deserved it.
Undertale didn't even get nominated for Best Soundtrack.
That's fucking like heresy.
What even won Best Soundtrack that year? I wonder.
I bet it was like something dumb because it was like 2015. So it wasn't gonna like, the best games that came out in 2015 were Undertale and Splatoon, and those are the only two good games that came out that year.
2015 was a good year. We got, I don't know, Bloodborne, Witcher 3. I don't know.
Wow, those games are
right?
very overrated, but yeah.
Best soundtrack. I'm curious. What actually won?
2015. I bet Splatoon wasn't even nominated,
No, I don't. No, it wasn't.
despite the fact that ABXY was in that game.
ABXY.
Yeah,
Oh my god, Metal Gear Solid 5 won because of its licensed music.
of course it did. Now, Metal Gear Solid 5 has some good songs in it.
The few original
Like
songs are
90% of them are
amazing.
licensed.
The few original songs are
And it was
amazing.
going up against Undertale.
Yeah. Shit, they could have just given it to Witcher 3 and I'd be happier. At least that has like people yelling in like Polish. That's pretty fun.
Undertale got super snubbed that year, but yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It should have won Best Indie, it should have won Game of the Year, and it should have won Best Soundtrack.
Yeah.
And Best Narrative.
Shouldn't have won Best Art Direction though. I'll give it that.
I mean, yeah.
As much as I love Undertale's character designs, that game's art direction is all over the place. Deltarune's a lot more consistent, I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, Toby Fox is just an American version of Zune.
True.
Yeah. Good music, good games, can't draw.
Yeah.
No art direction.
There's still an undeniable charm to both of their art.
Oh, yeah.
even if it's technically terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Can't draw, amazing character design.
Yes. But they should have nominated one of a new Toho game came out this year. What the fuck wasn't that nominated for anything? What the heck, Game Awards? Jeff not
They
playing
don't
Toho?
care. Oh, but can we talk about how Inscription got snubbed for best strategy?
It being like a sim strategy game is already kind of weird to me.
No, it's a card game.
I guess
It's all about building your deck.
Well,
There's
I mean,
tons of
merging
strategy.
simulation and strategy in the same category feels weird to me. I feel like they're
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
somewhat different. I don't know.
It's because they don't want to give a full category to both.
Yeah, because they're not as important as
Some
something like
games
action,
have
which gets 2 categories.
yeah. I don't know, but still, I kind of feel like at least of the Inscription should have won something. Like, you can understand it not necessarily winning Best Indie, because that was a very loaded category of tons of great games. And even though I kind of feel like Inscription was better than Kena,
they're so different at this point, though.
Yeah, I kind of understand Kena winning, because once again, it had the graphics.
The graphics.
I don't know how good it was gameplay-wise, but I did get Inscription the other day, and I was playing it today, and I played through the first third of the game. I played for 3 hours today, nonstop. It was super fun.
Well, that's good.
I got the most overpowered death card imaginable. So OP. Let me write this down for you guys.
Okay.
It was a card that was free to play, so it had no cost.
Okay.
3 damage, 2 health, and it had a sigil where every time you played the card, an exact copy of the card would be put into your hand.
Oh, fun.
And keep in mind, there is no limit to how many cards you can place per turn.
Oh.
So you draw that card, you play it, another one, an exact copy of it gets put in your hand. You play that, an exact copy of it gets put in your hand.
Holy shit.
You fill the entire board in a single turn with 3 damage, 2 health cards.
Uh-huh.
And you can just keep going. You can sacrifice as many of them as you want to play even better cards. It's just absolutely broken.
I know that it's very easy to break.
You win the game.
Yeah, I know you could beat like everything in the game in like a turn if you know what you're doing. It's insane.
Oh yeah, you draw that card and you immediately win the game. If you draw that on your first turn, you immediately win.
card games are so cool. Like when I like hear about like the shit you can do and stuff like Magic the Gathering, I'm like, oh shit, that's so awesome. But also
Yeah.
I can't play a card game because building a deck is a pain. Like I always like,
Nah,
have
deck
like
building's fun, provided that the game itself has like good deck building mechanics, you know?
it's fun, but it's like it's hard to like get a feel for it for a lot of games unless you're like really experienced with them, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, another card game I've been playing recently is like Legends of Runeterra, the League of Legends card game, which is
Yeah.
actually pretty fun. Um, but I built like a Victor Nami deck.
Yeah.
Because how that game works is it's pretty archetype centric, but each archetype is defined by a champion, right?
Okay.
So like there'll be a champion card, and then they'll have support cards that are supposed to go with them, right?
hmm
And so, and they want you to build a deck around like at least two champions usually.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice
Um,
direction to give to.
yeah. And so like I have this Victor Nami deck where how it works is Nami and her archetype cards, what they do is they give you free mana to cast spells with, and then if you have Nami on the field, every time you cast a spell, she will buff your weakest card. Like
Mhm.
she'll give them an additional power, and when she's upgraded, she'll give them like 2 power and 1 health.
Mhm.
And what Victor's cards are based around is creating spell cards and stuff, and just creating cards in general in your hand for you to play.
Sounds like an interesting concept.
And every time you play a card that's created, they get a power boost.
Oh.
So like they'll gain 1 power for every created card you play. And so you get both of them in your hand, and then you put in cards that will create cards for you.
And
So
then
like,
you
for
become a
example,
god.
if you just have like Nami and Victor on your field, every turn, Victor will generate a Hex Core card, spell card for you, which what that does is it will give Victor a random like keyword boost, which are the special effects that you can have on cards. And then, like, by playing that, Nami will then buff Victor, and Victor will get buffed from his augment passive, and then he'll also gain a new keyword. And so you just continuously buffing all your cards and generating new spell cards on top of that because these spells will, have different effects. So the deck is basically based around, playing a shit ton of random spells and hoping that I get lucky getting good ones and winning. It's actually like a really fun deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds fun. I might have to try this out.
Yeah. It's actually like a pretty fun card game.
Riot keeps funding okay games, and it's evil. It's insidious.
Yeah.
Trying to get me to play Riot games. I am.
Every
I mean,
piece of League of Legends adjacent medium is 10 times better than regular League of Legends.
yeah. There's some talented like artists and writers working on League.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to Riot though. They do take pride in like their employees and who they hire. Because I know it's a really long process to get hired at Riot. Like they don't
They
just
still
hire
have
anybody.
people from the Cosby Suite,
Yeah. That's not
Besides
really the
that-
greatest thing to say when they're also facing similar allegations and
What's
lawsuits.
the guy's name?
to
Ghostcrawler
Blizzard.
or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a guy who used to be at Activision. He went to Riot. He was in the Cosby Suite.
Mm.
Yeah. Riot's like Activision bad. Like they're bad.
It's like they're like effectively just Blizzard again. To be fair, that's all they do though. Like in every
Just
way
like-
and form. It's really funny.
just like Ubisoft and Quantic Dream and EA probably.
Yeah, this is why you need to play Japanese games.
Yeah.
They don't
I mean,
have
they're
this much
crap.
of it.
The Nintendo's when they do crunch, they just treat it as like quirky. It's really weird. Kotaku had like an article about Nintendo's crunch a few years ago, and like it's really weird to read because it's like written like it's quirky or something, and it's like what? Because it's
I don't know.
Nintendo.
From what I've heard, like Nintendo like tries to not crunch as best
They're
as
usually not that
possible.
bad. I just know Odyssey had some.
Yeah, I mean it's
Because Super Mario Odyssey.
understandable that sometimes you're gonna have to crunch.
Yeah.
it's like it's one of those things where you want to avoid it as much as you can. You know, you want to try and avoid it, but like at the end of the day, sometimes a few games might need to get crunched because the deadline is just that important.
Yeah.
You know, and it's understandable that Odyssey got a bit of crunch because it's like they need that shit out year one, you know?
Yeah, it's a freaking Mario game. Yeah.
So I was doing a little research on what you were talking about with Riot, and they've actually, unlike Blizzard, they actually have a annual diversity and inclusion progress report that they've actively update every month.
I think they were legally asked to do that. I think the courts asked them to do that.
No, there's technically no, that was all the way back in 2018, those allegations were put against them, and nothing happened of it, but they did apologize publicly for any of those things instead of just denying it, and then they started doing the thing I just said, the diversity inclusion action plan, and it's on their website, and they promise that nothing like that would ever happen, and it was actually not anything of higher up. It was more of a lower management.
Ghostcrawler? He's still there.
So actually what happened to him, because I'm seeing that, he actually lost his position and is just a low-level employee right now because he was making 7 figures working there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he got severely punished, and the only reason he's still there apparently is because oh, it's not saying why he's still there.
Because he has seniority.
Yeah, probably something along the lines of that. He probably does bring stuff to the table, and he probably had to do some sort of reform.
Yeah.
Because he single-handedly cost Riot over $10 million because of that.
Oh, I don't think it was just him. There was
no, him alone cost $10 million. In total, the whole thing was $400 million. But
it's because I'm sure, like, you know, the people suing them won.
Yes, they did.
It was the state. Yeah, it was the state suing them, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which state? Riot's California.
You want to know something funny though?
Apparently,
right after
not
that,
as bad as Blizzard, you know.
Yeah, at least Riot, from what we can see, they actually have gotten like the numbers extremely up as far as diversity in their actually employment base.
Oh yeah.
And they actually started a all-woman Valorant game tournament.
Neat.
But funny enough, right during this, they conveniently sued Mobile Legends and won for copyright infringement. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Immediately after.
I mean, they only got 2.9 million for it, but they still did it.
Wow, I'm surprised. You know, that's not a lot. For how blatant Mobile Legends is.
It's literally, some of these characters are copy and paste. And I can say that because I've used to play Mobile Legends pretty religiously.
But some of Riot's like horribly toxic workplace, I'm still not over the one story where someone said that if you've never thrown up playing a game, then you're not a real gamer and shouldn't be like on the dev team. It was like trying to fire people over that. Like
that dude is fucking insane.
No, but he was getting like
backed up over a video game. You shouldn't be working anywhere.
No, because the game was so intense and frustrating. That was some of the devs at Riot. That was their mindset.
That's really stupid. If you're throwing up over a video game, you shouldn't be working anywhere. You should be like being taken care of in a fucking like, you know, shelter for, you know.
That explains
like
a lot about
you should be put in an elderly home early.
I just want to say though, the workplace stories explain a lot about League of Legends. It just so much makes sense. Like,
oh yeah.
If those people were designing it, like, oh, okay. That's why League is intentionally like painful to play.
Yeah. This is like really off topic.
It is, but you know.
I honestly have no more stuff to say about.
Good.
We're talking about how shitty the game industry is, which is
We haven't
what the
even
Game
talked
Awards is
about
all
any
about.
of the new announcements in the Game Awards.
Let's move over to that. You know, I was actually kind of purposely saving that for more of a second half kind of thing.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's just
Um,
transition to that. Let's just be done talking about class action lawsuits against companies.
But we shouldn't have been talking about that at all in the first place, but
Why? Hey, no, we're talking about how crap the game industry is because that's what the Game Awards is all about.
fair enough.
That was technically in our conversation. We
But,
just went a little more in depth with Riot.
Um,
Anyways,
what's
let's
it called?
move over to the actual new announcements at the Game
That
Awards.
Sonic trailer kicked ass.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
The game, not
Yes.
the game. The game
No.
was pretty cool, but I mean the movie.
The freaking
was
movie, it
highlight.
looks sick.
Yeah.
Knuckles had a sick ass intro. Do I look like I need your power?
Knuckles is cool for the first time in like 15 years.
I feel like the voice they gave him was perfect. Whoever that voice actor
Yeah.
is perfect.
Idris Elba. He's a big actor.
Yeah. He's the chicken wing guy. He ate chicken wing and then he died.
Do I look like I need your chicken wings?
That's like a show, like or like a talk show or something, where they ask them questions and give them progressively hotter wings. I've never watched it.
Oh yeah. Actually, I have actually been watching that recently. Oddly enough.
Getting Tom Holland on there next. Everyone's saying he's gonna die because he's too white, and I believe it.
He's just gonna turn into a tomato and explode.
Yeah,
But let's get back on topic. We're not talking about Tom Holland and Spider-Man.
We're talking about Idris Elba as Knuckles, who was amazing, and we only saw one line from him, and he's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. There
And
was
then
a surprising amount of movie trailers at the Game Awards.
I know.
Yeah,
There was like what, at least
weird.
3? There was the one
Yeah.
for the Sonic movie, which, fair enough, that's Sonic. I'll allow
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then we had the Guillermo del Toro movie,
Which is completely off topic. What the hell was that
Yeah.
doing there?
because he was given an award because he's friends with Kojima.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's so.
And then we had the Matrix movie trailer.
That one was like, screw you.
Yeah, that was like, come on. Look, okay, and can we talk about if you're listening back to this and anybody watched the Game Awards and you're listening back to this, can we talk about how the main female that was next to Keanu Reeves just looked like she didn't even want to be there? Like
Yeah,
she was
that
so
lady.
unenthusiastic. I can't remember.
To be fair, Keanu Reeves was like flipping between completely unenthusiastic and really forced enthusiastic. But that's
He was just
because
flailing his arms at one point.
he's not the best actor. I love Keanu Reeves, but he's not the best.
He has his moments.
he has his
He
moments.
is Neo though. Nobody can replace
but-
him as
He
Neo.
was pretty good in Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's actually okay in that.
Yeah.
This is one of his better roles, but you could tell he was acting to care about this trailer.
I'd rather him act to care than not care and show that he doesn't care, because then it just shows that it's not like, why would you even care about this announcement if the people announcing it don't care about it?
I do gotta say that Matrix Epic Game Store thing, the graphics for that did look wow. That looked very nice.
Yeah,
Visually.
yeah.
But it was just kind of like a little interactive thing. Like it was just a
It
short
was just a
little thing.
tech
So,
demo.
so yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
But getting into the actual trailers, Alan
Yeah.
Wake 2. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Alan
Oh,
Wake
yeah, I
2.
felt that.
It's been a while since anything has been heard about Alan Wake 2, right?
Yeah. We just had that remaster announced a while back.
Yeah.
They had said that they're going for more of the survival horror direction with this one, so that's
I'm happy about that because
yeah, it's kind of
one of
interesting.
the issues with the first game a bit because the first game it's you walk around and shine like flashlights at monsters and shoot them with guns and it's not scary. It's kind of goofy.
You
which
know
is
what's gonna be
fine.
good when the person announcing it literally says, "This story is a monster."
What's that even mean?
I don't know, but you know it's gonna be good
Big and scary.
and
Anyway.
spooky.
You know what's funny? The best looking game for me, like out of all the trailers, was like the second one they showed off during like the pre-show. Have a Nice Death. That
Which
game
one was
looks
that
like
again?
the best one.
Oh, yeah. The Metroidvania Grim Reaper one.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Oh
So
my
I
god,
looked into it.
yes.
I looked into it. It's not actually a Metroidvania.
Okay.
It's actually a roguelike.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Which,
interesting.
in retrospect, it's like that makes way more sense. It makes
Yes.
sense being early access and stuff, and also, this stuff. But if I had to guess, it's probably like a roguelike in the kin to like Dead Cells, where it's
Yeah.
like sort of like a Metroidvania, but it's more like a roguelike.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not a big like roguelike fan overall. I haven't really tried the genre that deeply. The only one I've really played is like Rogue Legacy, and only for like an hour.
Legacy's not that great. I have some nostalgia for it, but it's not that great.
It's okay. But yeah, it's like it's totally fun-ish. Yeah, it's fine. But it's nothing
Yeah.
like spectacular. But like this looks fucking awesome.
It does.
It really does. It blew me away.
Yeah,
Visually,
it's
yeah, it looks cool. The combat looks sick.
yeah.
The thing, roguelikes feel a bit overdone. Like there's so many indie roguelikes at this point. But at
It's
the same
true.
time, I don't think there's one that's topped Binding of Isaac for me, so I'm still kind of open to the genre. Like,
Yeah.
nothing's been that good yet, so.
To be fair, the genre is fairly diverse in terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
like tone and style of the games,
Yeah.
Because like the only thing you have to do in order to be a roguelike is have permadeath and random level generation,
Yeah, you got something like Dwarf Fortress, which is arguably a roguelike. And then you got Risk of Rain 2. And they're
Stop
like,
crinkling the candy ramples. It's actually driving me insane.
oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I should have said it
I didn't know
earlier,
you
but
picked up.
I
That was
couldn't
wild.
even.
That
I
was far
can't
away.
stand it anymore.
I'm sorry. I thought that was
I
farther away.
couldn't take it.
But what was I talking about? I completely lost my train of thought now.
Roguelikes and like Dwarf Fortress.
And how Risk of Rain 2. Those are like two games.
You know
and they're
what's-
completely different.
You know what's a good roguelike that I've actually been playing recently? Skull the Hero Slayer.
Oh, I've heard Skull's
yeah,
good. Yeah.
I've heard that one. I
Skull
heard that
is
one's
so
good.
fun. And yes, all you need for a roguelike is random generated maps and permadeath.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
But oh my god, if
A
you
lot
guys
of people like to try and like get the argument of like, oh, is it a roguelike or is it a roguelite?
I'm actually fine with that for people that actually like the hardcore roguelike genre. I kind of feel bad for them, like the hardcore like dungeon crawly ones. Like
kinda
that's
get
impossible
it.
to find
I
now.
kind of get it, but I kind of feel like I don't know.
It's pointless.
It's ultimately to me like the two genres are so similar that they might as well be the same, and you might as well just tack on other words to make them more like definitive. Like you could in theory call Dead Cells a Metrovania roguelike, or at least an action platforming roguelike,
Yeah.
and then like so like and you could call like The Binding of Isaac like a top-down action roguelike,
Yeah. I get you.
you could call games a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes, you certainly
I mean,
can.
like I am for me personally, in like terms of like game genres, I am much more of the get as descriptive as possible and tack on as many descriptors as possible. It's like if the genre title for a game has to be like 15 different genres slammed together all in a row to like tell you what genre it is, that's fine. As long as I
thing
can
is,
picture it in my head as what it's like,
Yeah.
genres are usually for organization purposes, so you kind of want broad stuff usually.
Nah,
Like-
I think it should be a bit more specific because games are too broad.
Yeah, like you don't have an aisle at the bookstore for, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
Fiction about
Every book
pizzas.
is the fucking same except for, like the themes and like stuff like that, So it's
Yeah.
like this book is a horror book because it's scary. this book is like an adventure book because it's a character going on an adventure. You
Yeah.
know? But that's not equatable to video games.
Yeah, video
know?
games, it's like if
Changing
you
the camera angle changes the genre of the fucking game. You know?
Yeah.
Camera angle can mean a whole different thing.
So it's like they just aren't equatable. You know?
Yeah.
Like other mediums are not the same as interactive mediums like video games.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't categorize other, you know, like games like that, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I suppose. Although
Like, you
I'm just
wouldn't
saying, there's a reason they're broad.
category like playing, you know, Warhammer versus playing like, you know, Monopoly, despite the fact that you play them effectively on a board, more or less.
No,
I mean,
they're both.
Warhammer,
Is
you don't have a
Monopoly
board, but
strategy
yeah,
game? Does
it's a
Monopoly
board
count?
game.
Okay.
It's a strategy board game. Yes.
Does Monopoly
A
have
board game,
strategy?
there's some strategy to it. There's more strategy than your average board game, but it's still 90% luck.
Yeah, it's not Sorry, which is
The only strategy is
Sorry.
through trading and convincing
Yeah.
people that you should totally sell me your park place.
okay. I know board games are off topic, but I'm genuinely trying to remember. I haven't played Sorry since I was like 9. Does that game have any mechanics other than rolling dice and moving?
No.
Is Sorry just that? Is it that bad of a game?
I mean, it's a Ludo.
Yeah, I guess.
I think there's some mechanical.
I think it's
It
just
was-
roll dice
because,
and
like,
get
you
fucked.
can choose which piece you want to move, right?
I think
Like, you
I
roll the dice and then you choose which piece you want to move, right? That's how it works. I can't remember.
see. I haven't played it since I was like 8.
Me
so.
too.
I think you can choose only if they're outside of like the starting zone.
Yeah,
if
but
you
then
only
you
have-
get to choose who
Yes,
you want to move.
yes.
So there is strategy involved.
Exactly.
It's depending on which pace you want to go where.
And then you can choose, like, let's say I want to move only this guy once, but I have 4 moves. I can use this guy once
Okay,
and then move
so
that
it's
guy
not
3
as
times.
bad as I remember it being. Okay, it's
Yeah,
still
there's
pretty
actually
bad,
a good amount of strategy in it. Yeah.
It's still crap.
Nah, it's
There's-
pretty base. Sorry, it's
there's-
pretty awesome.
There's better board games out there you could be playing. You could be playing. I don't know.
Anyways, let's get
Yeah. I forgot what
alright.
exists.
Let's get back on topic. Can we talk? Black Chestnut said this during the actual trailer when we were doing our reaction to it. But the one game, hold on, let me figure out the name to it. But it literally, like, granted, it looked great, but it was just a movie.
Oh, the Hellblade.
Yeah, Hellblade 2. Like,
Yeah.
it
The thing
looked
is, like,
good,
Hellblade
but like
1's
that's
a good game.
it just like why are like I didn't agree with him as much during the actual reaction, but looking back, like, why are these games trying to be movies? Like, they're not
Thank
movies.
you. See, I convinced him. I did it. I did it, guys.
Oh, I know why they're trying, because you get critical acclaim and make a lot of money, and people buy them, and your trailers are
Yeah.
cool.
Well, there's a difference between a game and a movie. It's okay to
Oh,
make
yeah.
a movie,
Yes.
a game
I
into
did
a
it.
movie.
Honestly, I appreciate the ones that like just take it all the way. Like, I have more respect for something like David Cage's games, where it's just like, fuck
I
it,
don't.
go
I have
all
the
the
least
way.
amount of respect for David Cage's games.
I have no
out of
respect
all the
for David
shitty
Cage.
people in the game. Like, out of all the
Oh,
shitty
I have
people in the
no
game
respect
industry,
for him.
David
as a
Cage is the
person.
worst because he is genuinely a terrible piece of shit person, and
yeah.
he makes bad games. He has no fucking excuse.
No, I just mean that I appreciate him, the way his games are more honest about just being a copy of movies. They don't pretend to be games. It's not like
I think that's
Hellblade, where
even
it's
worse.
like Hellblade, like Jeff Keighley was like, this is real gameplay. And it's like there's about 2 seconds where it looked like you could interact in that trailer.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm sure you were in control of the character walking and maybe throwing the spear.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that was
I
it.
agree.
Yeah, but
But
as
it's
far
like-
as that,
It's not
that's
gameplay.
Yeah, that's not gameplay.
Yeah, I'm like not excited.
That's you
And it's
walking
like-
through a world.
And the
That's
thing
you
is,
buying
it's
that one
like,
Rambo DVD where you could interact with like quick time events.
yeah, but it's like, I'm not like even super worried about that game necessarily because like
Hellblade 1 was
that
great.
scene is there, but like Hellblade 1 still had good real gameplay in it, you know?
Yeah, the devs have a. Which ninja are they?
Is it Ninja Theory?
Hellblade is by Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
Who okay, they made DMC Devil May Cry, but they also made Heavenly Sword. So
Yeah. Were they also the guys who did Metroid Other M?
no,
Or was
that's
those the other
Team
ninja guys?
Ninja.
Right, those are the booby guys. They make the Dead or Alive games.
Yeah, and the Ninja Gaiden guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dead Alive and
Ninja Gaiden, great game, by the way.
Yes.
But
I
what
feel
were the
bad
other
for both of them.
announcements as far as new games?
Wasn't there like that big expansion for Warhammer?
Oh yeah, the 40K Warhammer, not the RTS
No,
Warhammer.
the other one, because there was two. There was the
Those are both new
regular
games.
Warhammer.
I think those are both new games.
Okay, and yeah, and the Warhammer 40K, which was like Space Marines 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Warhammer guy, so I don't know like all the stuff about it and stuff, but from what I heard, Space Marines 1 was like really popular and everybody really liked it, and so lots of people are really hyped for Space Marines 2. And from the
Yeah.
3 seconds of gameplay we got of it, it looked pretty good.
It's like really funny how they like why even show gameplay at all?
I'll take it. I'll take 3 seconds. It's better than nothing. It shows me that there is in fact a game that they have in fact made somewhat of.
This game just looks like Gears of War. Although, that's fair for a licensed game. Just rip
kinda
off like
is.
a good game that's like similar to your IP. That's like the best thing you can do for a licensed
I mean, I
game.
guess. I mean, like, Gears of War is already just ripping off Warhammer, though.
What came out first? Gears of War?
Warhammer is way older.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Warhammer's 40K
Warhammer's
is
like
like
80s.
yeah, it's like a really old tabletop war game. Very popular. And stuff. Like, I'm pretty familiar with the tabletop wargaming genre, but I'm not popular with Warhammer specifically. Like, my dad's really into tabletop wargaming. He, like, makes his own war games and stuff. He, like, writes out mechanics and stuff, and he comes up with, and he, like,
That's part of
Jerry
the
wigs
hobby.
figures and shit.
Oh yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
Making up your own game is part of the hobby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with, tabletop wargaming and stuff. Not so familiar with 40K and whatnot, though.
All I know about 40K is the one guy who won a match in one round because he just placed all his units in just the enemy side, so the guy couldn't spawn anything, and he instantly won. It was like a
stupid
photo of him like smiling.
Oh,
over the board,
I
and
know
the
what you're
guy,
talking
like,
about now.
The other guy with like the rule book reading through it, looking super pissed, trying to figure out if that was legal. It's
How
amazing.
is that not against the rules? How are you even allowed to place him on the enemy side?
He just had like a really fast unit.
Oh, he moved all his units into the enemy's side.
It was the second turn because the guy
spawn.
had like a strategy where he would spawn all his guys in the second turn, and it was
and
like
he moved them all.
Yeah, so he just moved them every single unit to the enemy side, covered like the entire board with like shitty units, and they can't do anything.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It's immortalized in a great photo. But yeah, that's my extent of my knowledge of Warhammer.
Yeah. The Space Marines would probably be good.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a game called like Night something? Nightingale.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that a 40K game?
It was a weird game. I had to watch the trailer again for it real quick.
I don't remember that
Wait,
one.
was that at
the Warrior Priest game? That one's for the RTS, right?
I think so.
I'm
not totally sure.
Did they show gameplay?
Because that's the thing with like Warhammer is that there's like multiple different like franchises of it, and then there's like tons of different stuff covering it because you got the original like tabletop game, but then they have tons of video games like tie-ins, because the IP is so big. So you got like lots of like strategy games from it and lots of like action games.
Yeah,
and, like, stuff
everything.
from it.
So who knows what Warrior Priest was?
Yeah.
All I know is that
Honestly,
Warrior Priest is a funny title.
yeah. Let me just Google it really quick.
That was
Yeah,
the
I'm
one where you would go through the portals, and you would have to craft your own like civilization, but you would go
Oh,
through
right,
portals
right.
and
It was
stuff.
Rust with fantasy elements.
Yes, exactly. That game actually kind of interested me, and there's like giants and stuff that you can trade with, but there's also
Oh yeah.
monsters like the trees can come to life and stuff.
Oh yeah, the monsters in that genuinely impressed me. I remember it showed a giant for a second. I was like, whoa, that actually had like a sense of scale. Like the
Right,
lighting and stuff.
right. It looked very interesting, and I've never been a big fan of Rust, but that looks straight up like a Rust-esque game, and that really intrigued me.
Rust is weird because it's very shoestring budget. This game looks like it has some money behind it.
Right, it's got an interesting art style. Like the main character looks a little different art style than I've seen.
Yeah. Um.
Okay, so I Googled it. For the Warhammer like Warrior Priest stuff. It's a
Mhm.
DLC for Warhammer Vermintide 2, which
Vermintide. That's a fun
yeah,
word.
which is an action game.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure like all the details on the gameplay, but from the screenshots on Steam, you're running around and hitting like rat dudes with a hammer.
Yeah, the vermin is the rat faction in
It's a
Warhammer.
Vermintide. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, because because the thing with Warhammer is like you got the like fantasy Warhammer, and then you got the sci-fi Warhammer with Warhammer 40K.
Where they
You
still have
know,
swords in the sci-fi ones sometimes because
yeah.
it's cool.
To be fair, most of the aliens they're fighting are in melee.
Yeah.
For
Um,
as far as RTS go, the Warhammer has like the most over the top animations for like fighting. Like the dwarves in there, like when they charge in, they literally like jump like 3 feet in the air and smash down. It's so accentuated, but it's great.
Dwarf animations are the best thing about fantasy games.
yeah.
um, yeah. So now you get to play as warrior priests, the legendary
Yes.
character
Yeah.
who hits people. And I don't think he's doing much priestly things. I don't know. I don't think he's like giving communion or anything. He's probably just murdering things.
Yeah. From what I can see of the game, it seems that you're just running around killing rat dudes. The Warhammer universe.
All right.
And it was just a DLC. So that answers that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Confusing trailer though if you're not familiar with the game. Like
Eh,
like the Space Marine one, like, okay, here's this cool Space Marine dude. He's got a chainsaw sword. He's fighting aliens.
I mean,
All
like,
right.
I kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah.
It's not trying to necessarily sell to new people who. It's more so for people who are already interested in Warhammer,
Mm-hmm.
and only to like mention it to try and stoke interest in people who maybe haven't heard of it.
Right.
To
Yeah.
like look into it and check it out.
So
Because
it's
it's like,
not
hey, that
just
looks neat.
because
You know,
otherwise it would just be generic fantasy IP or Space Marine.
yeah,
We got plenty of Space Marine games.
yeah.
um. Yeah. What other announcements were there? Oh yeah, there was Slitterhead.
Oh yeah,
that was
Slitterhead. Oh yeah, what
good.
was that about again?
Uh, it was the monster peoples.
Some
They were the
fucked up body
monsters.
horror. Some shantytown apartments, it looked like. And it's by Keiichiro Toyama, who's the director
Yeah.
of Silent Hill, Siren, and Gravity Rush. So he's got a pretty good track record.
Okay. Okay. So it can't be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
And
one of those
Akira-
CGI trailers that it's like, okay, this is probably going to be good, despite the fact that this is all CGI trailer. Because one, I know the people behind it, and I know their work, and I know they're good. And then two, all you have to do with the CGI trailer is introduce the concept of what they're doing to me, and then I'll be like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, I get this.
This is less of a game that's selling me on gameplay. Like I can look at it and be like, okay, I know what this is gonna be. It's either gonna be like survival horror or just like shooter action. I don't really need to see the gameplay to get a vibe for it. They're more
Yeah.
selling me on the visuals and spooky shit.
Yeah, but that does beg the question. It's like, is it going to be more horror or is it going to be more action?
I mean, this guy makes a blood sword, so I'm gonna assume more action.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
um but Anakiri Yamaoka is doing music, so this is pretty much the most Team Silent reunion we're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, this is a lot more promising as of a Silent Hill reboot than, say, Silent Hills.
Silent Hills
In a
looked like
lot of
a
ways.
great game, just maybe not a great Silent Hill game. Because PT was amazing, but I don't think Kojima can make a good Silent Hill game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Although
It
I
would,
think PT was kind of just fine for what it was, but it
it's,
also probably wouldn't have made for a great game overall. Like, I don't think PT would work as a full-length game,
as
Yeah,
part of
probably
a
not.
bigger game.
Like, it's great
Like
as a
take like
demo,
say the
you
baby
know?
section in Resident Evil Village, like that's really
Yeah,
effective. Like
yeah,
in
but
PT,
like I said, you couldn't take that and turn that into a full game. Not unless you did something completely different with it, like QT.
yeah.
You know QT?
What is QT?
It's the PT parody game where it gets cute.
Okay. See, PT has so
That's
many
where
ripoffs successors at this
Joel,
point.
the Varg friend from Joel's stream, is from.
Oh,
QT.
huh.
He made his own QT. That's what it was.
But no, is like that's just a demo to show. Okay, they know what they're doing to make something scary, and I'm still
Yeah.
sad about Silent Hills. I mean, hell, apparently Guillermo del Toro is still sad about it. He brought it up at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, when it comes to like old franchises that are dormant, I kind of look at it and think, if the original creators can't get back together to make a new one, I don't really want a new one. And even if they could, I don't know if I necessarily still would. You know?
See, I'm more open to it with games than I am with something like movies, like reboots and like new sequels.
I don't
Like,
know.
because
A part of
games,
me is just kind of like, there won't ever really be a good Silent Hill game ever again. We don't really
yeah,
need to continue with the IP. We've gotten 4 good ones. That's more than enough,
yeah,
And I kind of feel the same way about, say, like Jack and Daxter. I don't want another Jack and Daxter game.
yeah.
You know, I don't have faith in Naughty Dog to make it good, and I don't have faith in anyone else to do it either.
I mean, there's some games like if they already announced that they're not making a new one or they just haven't made a new one in a while. I mean, there's no reason that another dev or anything should try and recreate it or do something similar because like certain games are just fine the way they are. Like
Yeah, I mean, like,
sometimes
for me,
those games that are similar or
yeah.
recreations, they're just ruining it.
Well, it's not even like necessarily. Like, I definitely agree, but it's also like sequels as well. They're making a sequel to the game that's not the
Ex-
original creators.
exactly.
And not just from like, for one, we got the Silent Hill games as like great examples of that. But for me personally, another big example for me is like Sly 4.
Mhm.
And it's really tragic with Sly 4 because they were so close to not fucking it up and getting it right. And then they fucked it up in
Yeah.
like the stupidest fucking way. And I will never fucking forgive them for it.
Hey, but hey, on the other hand, there's Crash 4, which by far is the best Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah, that's fair. Crash 4
Yeah,
was really good.
yeah. I
So
mean, unless you go for
you got me on
100%,
that
then
one.
it's hell.
Then it's hell. That's true. But like Sly 4, they were so close to getting it right. It's like gameplay wise, it was great. You know, art-wise, it was fine. It could have been better, could have been worse. I take
Sly's
it.
art direction is nice, but it's also like nothing that blows me away.
Well,
So,
Sly 4
whatever.
specifically, because they went for a different art direction.
Oh,
And
interesting.
have you never seen it before at all?
I've seen it, but it's been years.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think it looks terrible,
Yeah.
but specifically the one thing that they absolutely did that's unforgivable is the Black Knight. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it, but anyone who has knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about. The Black Knight was so fucking stupid. I will never fucking forgive them for what they did to me.
Oh my god.
I cannot believe that they thought that was a good idea. I cannot believe it. Whoever wrote that into the script should never get to eat lunch in this town again. I cannot believe they did this. Unforgivable.
Unforgivable.
And it sucks because other than that game is like great. There's like one or two other minor things bad about that game, but besides that, it's great. I love the concept of going back in time and stuff, and like meeting Sly's ancestors, and like just being able to play as like Tennessee Kid Cooper, and he has a fucking gun is like the best shit ever.
Oh yeah, I like the time travel gimmick they had for the For Fun. That looked fun.
Yeah, and it's like they were so fucking close, and then they fucked it up.
What studio did that? Did they do anything else?
Sanzuru Games.
Okay.
Namely, they also did the Sly remasters for the PS3. The first 3 games.
So just like Crash 4, they got the people that did the remasters. Interesting.
Yeah. Granted, those weren't like full-on remakes. Those were just, enhanced ports, remasters. Which, for the most part, they were fairly good, with some minor graphical problems.
They weren't like, what was it? Was it the Jack and Daxter ports that are really bad?
The PS4 Jack and Daxter ports are really bad. But the Ratchet and Clank PS3 ports are pretty bad.
Yeah, like I know.
Like they're playable, but they've got lots of graphics.
Yeah, the cutscenes are really messed up, I know.
Yeah. It's not just the cutscenes. There's also like some UI issues, and like in the second and third game, Ratchet's model is all fucked up. His helmet is
I've seen that.
Enlarged for some fucking reason. It doesn't fit on his head correctly, and it looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Were there any?
I can't even like really blame them for being that bad, because it's like all those games are like impossible to emulate to this day. Except for maybe the Sly games. I think those ones you can emulate, but like Jack and like Ratchet,
like Sly. Yeah,
they're like unemulatable.
Yeah, they just use weird PS2 trickery.
Yeah, and then trying to like port those to be playable natively on the PS3. I understand why they came out all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why we got a full-on reimagining of Ratchet 1 instead of any sort of port.
Just what I'm saying, we just need fucking remasters of those games. Like, I really need that in my life. I really do need a 4K remaster of the Sly trilogy.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
For the PS5, and like for Ratchet and Jack too.
See, Insomniac and Naughty Dog only make M-rated games now.
I don't need them to do it. Anybody can do it. I just need a 4K remaster on my PS5 of those games.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm asking you for Sony. You do that, and I'll be happy. I won't ask you for anything else. You can make as many fucking
4K
Marvel.
Was good, right?
You can make as many like dumb Marvel games that I will never buy as long as you want. You can make as many Last of Us sequels and Uncharted games.
Insomniac gets a pass for their Marvel games because Spider-Man was really good.
I mean, like, sure, but I also
they get a pass on like the Avengers game and stuff, and like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely, it's better than the Square Enix ones for sure.
I'm genuinely kind of excited for what they're going to do with the Wolverine game. I want to murder people.
I mean, I get it. I understand why people are excited for it, and I don't think those games are bad. me personally, I'm just so burnt out on Marvel shit
Oh,
at this point
same.
that it's like the only Marvel stuff I'm going to be consuming within the next 3 years is going to be like Spider-Verse and maybe like that new Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah. I'm
And
curious
that's it.
about that. They got Willem Dafoe in it, so I'm like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah. And I'm probably not even gonna go watch it in theaters. I'll just
Oh
wait for
yeah.
it to go on like Disney Plus or whatever the fuck,
Yeah, same. Or
and I'll
maybe I don't
watch
know.
Spider-Verse and that'll be it.
Yep.
That's the
Oh
only
man.
stuff I'm planning on watching.
Oh,
Right?
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
The MCU is dead to me, pretty much.
Yeah. And I kind of feel the same way about the games. It's like I'm too there's too much in too short amount of time. I
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't want to touch it in any form. You know, it's like
Yeah.
if people are excited for it, fine, good. I don't care. I'm just not gonna play it. I don't even think they're bad. I don't want to play it.
um. But yeah, we were just. I know we're off topic for Game Awards, but I do want to talk about like late sequels and stuff because that's fun for
Yeah,
games.
sure.
For something like Sly, I think it's like difficult because that has like characters and stuff. So like
Well,
making a
see,
game
that's
like
exactly the thing. That's what they fucked up.
yeah. See, like when you don't have the same writers, that's really hard.
Yeah,
'But something like say Silent Hill, like if that got a new game, that's not really tied to any characters. That's just a new entry would just need to be tied to concept and setting. Which, you could take that in any way, and I
yeah,
just want to see something with a budget, use
yeah.
that because just
That's exactly the thing. That's like the exact problem with like Sly 4 that they fucked up on.
yeah,
Like
'cause-
the three problems I have with that game are like the Black Knight, which is the biggest issue. That is like the one death nail in the coffin. You know,
yeah,
and then it's like the final boss was like really dog shit, which was really
happens.
weird considering all the other bosses for the most part, except for like maybe one or two, were like good.
Yeah.
Like the first boss in that game was actually amazing.
Hmm.
Uh, and
More
then
often than
third,
not, platformers have bad final bosses, so I'll cut them some slack on that.
no, the boss was literally a QTE segment.
Ooh.
Like that's how bad it was. Um, and then third is that it ended with like a fucking cliffhanger that never got resolved because they never
Oh,
made a
that's
fifth game.
shitty. Oh, come on. When you do a game like after like 10 years, like the newest game, don't end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. It ended with Sly getting launched in time into ancient Egypt.
It's like if Half-Life 3 had another cliffhanger. That's the equivalent. Ugh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys care if I spoil
I,
for the
I
Black
don't
Maze?
care. I want to
Yeah,
play Sly
okay.
eventually, but I don't care about 4 that much because it's not as easily playable as
Yeah,
the other
this
ones.
this is like specifically only for 4, so it
Okay,
doesn't
so
matter. Okay, so this is what they did. This is what the cardinal fucking sin. So in Sly 3, they gave Bentley a girlfriend.
okay,
You know,
okay.
right? And in Sly 4, they fucking broke them up. And not just broke him up. They had her fucking betray him and like fucking stab him in the back. And I'm just like, you fucking shitting me. You cannot fucking do this.
if they do it completely off screen and don't acknowledge it, I'd understand it. Like, okay, we got to preserve status quo kind of thing, maybe. But completely like breaking the character, that sucks.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Actually appalling. Disgusting. They were such a cute couple. I'm so fucking mad.
Just do
I
what
cannot believe they did this to my boy Bentley.
they should have done what Leisure Suit Larry did, where they had it end with him like with a girlfriend. So they just did it where they had it Leisure Suit Larry 3 ended like that. Then they skipped Leisure Suit Larry 4. It doesn't exist. And they just skipped the 5th game where she doesn't exist anymore and they never acknowledge it because there's a non-existent 4th game where you can just imagine what happened to her.
Yeah.
That's the best solution.
It was handled so terribly on top of that.
Yeah.
Where it's like it wasn't just that they broke them up.
Yeah,
It's that they literally had her betray Bentley
Yeah, breaking
completely.
ruining a character sucks. Like out of character. That's
Yeah. And it's just like, what? No. Appalling. Actually unforgivable. But anyway, do you want to get a little back on topic? Do we have anything else to say about the Game Awards, or are we kind
Can
of
we talk a bit more
feeling?
about the Sonic movie, actually, just a little bit? Because we kind of
Yeah,
glossed it right
sure.
now. Chaos Emeralds. We just saw the Master Emerald. Will there be more Chaos
Are you
Emeralds?
sure that wasn't just a really big Chaos Emerald? Or was that a really small Master Emerald? Because I
I
don't
think it's a
know.
really small Master Emerald. For the
It
sake
could
of
be a really small
simplicity, I
Master
think they're just
Emerald.
going to narrow it down to a small Master Emerald. Um,
But what's the point of the Master Emerald if you don't have the other 7 Chaos Emeralds? You
well,
know, the
just have like
Master Emerald is like the one ring from Lord of the Rings. You know, without the other rings, it doesn't do anything.
well, it's just have Knuckles protecting this singular Chaos Emerald. That's the only one that exists. That makes sense. I don't know.
Anyway.
And
Um,
Mean Bean Machine. Had a reference to it in the trailer.
okay. So we're having some technical issues.
Oh,
Lucos cannot be heard at all.
not
Um,
good.
do we want to pause everything and try and reboot really quick?
Uh, sure. I just assumed he was just being real quiet.
No. He's having internet issues. Do we want to like take a time out and like
Or
try
do
and
we
do
just want to
that?
wrap up?
Or do you just want to wrap up?
We've been going for like an hour, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we can just wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks that
Lucas,
Lucas
let
couldn't
us
have
know if
any
you want to.
input on the last like 10-ish minutes. Maybe more like 5. But yeah, let's just wrap up then because I can't think of anything else to say. Except for like
Sure.
what the Evil West game. That one looked neat.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah. And then there was a bunch of samey games that all fucking looked the same and they all looked shitty.
Oh, we didn't talk about Sonic Frontiers at all. Open world Sonic game. We still don't know much about it. Okay,
They're using the same model from Forces.
that could just be a
I
placeholder.
hear the writers are good, but I don't remember what they did previously. But I remember seeing Sonic dudes on Twitter being like, "Oh, they got this guy to do the writing. Ooh, my
Ooh,
faith
if
has
it's
been
If it's
restored."
Ian Flynn, then I'm completely on board.
I think it might be, but I'm not
Because
100%.
he wrote the Sonic comics, the recent IDW ones, which are probably the coolest Sonic has been since like Adventure 2. So if that's it, I gotta go read up. All right,
Yeah.
but we
Okay.
still don't know enough about that to talk about it, so let's just wrap up.
Yes. Sorry for the weird ending there. A bit off topic.
You know what? That's the fun stuff. The
Podcast.
off-topic top stuff is the most interesting conversations.
Yeah. Got a little weird
Okay,
here or
whatever.
there. But as for final thoughts on the Game Awards, meh.
Lame.
Pretty meh. I'm gonna give it a solid meh. Really long, kind of boring, lots of bullshit in there. Some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Rewards part were okay. Could have been a lot better though. Not even just saying for like who got the awards, but like could have found a couple better people to give
The way
them.
they gloss over so many awards is so cynical. Like the awards
Yes,
themselves,
a
I don't
lot
even
of
look at
them
them.
are
I
like
don't even
glossed over too much.
like, for
Give more
example,
focus to more awards. It's understandable to gloss over some of the lesser important ones. Like sure,
best soundtrack not being presented by someone and not playing any of the music is like, wow.
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. The show's not about the awards, and I
Yeah.
always gotta look at it like that. So
Well, I would
whatever.
like it if they boosted that up a bit, you know. They did an okay job of finding people to do awards, but at the same time, like half of them
So many
should have been
actors.
replaced with someone from an actual video game industry, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just e-celebs who play video games, that's better.
Just get
You know,
some
get
like,
Germa to give an award. I'll take that.
oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Oh yeah. I hope that happens next year. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it. let's wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Thanks everybody for watching. Sorry about sorry, just sorry about everything. I'm gonna apologize now to everything bad that happened in this one.
This one wasn't the worst we've ever had.
Yeah. Just like across the board. Sorry for everything. If anything in this video,
just covering your bases.
Sorry for everything. With that said, it would appreciate us if you would like and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed,
smash that
means
like
a lot.
button.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Have a good
night.
Bye bye.